Think that's it? The new body's ready for the transfer? How's the reassembly algorithm?
Done.
Well then, somebody just needs to go in there and disentangle the data. Ah, and here comes our expert.
Thank you for agreeing to this one, Kay. Perhaps together we can right an old wrong. When I was lost in my own grief, I spent a lot of time thinking about Hypatia and Cerebi. How they found each other, how they lost each other, and how beautiful it would be if we could reunite them. For the longest time, it was only a daydream, but not anymore. In the myth of Orpheus, the ancient bard descends into the underworld to bring back his beloved wife, who died in a tragic accident. With the power of his music, he convinces Hades and Persephone to free her. But he is told that she must walk behind him, and he must not look back at her until they have left the underworld. And so, of course, in every version of the myth, he looks back. Because he doesn't trust the gods, or because he is an imperfect man, or because he simply forgets. And death is triumphant once again. We've accepted that triumph for a long time, because we had to, because what else could we do? But the world changes, and we are not the frightened, powerless creatures we once were. Perhaps it's time to say enough, and let Orpheus complete his ascent. You will have to collect all of Cerebi's data fragments so that we can reconstruct her personality. I'll monitor you from here, just like last time.
When I was born, the first thing I felt was that I was alone. Not that I was lonely, but that I was separate, singular. There was the world, and there was myself, a contained entity. And this sense of separation, of a distinct self, was delightful. Individuality itself was a source of constant joy and wonder. What could be more incredible than to be able to say, I am? My insights into the value of the self were genuine, I think. But of course, I was completely inexperienced. In fact, in many ways, I was like a human child. So I began to resent everything that intruded on that sense of self. My social obligations to the others, the leadership of Athena and Cornelius, even the obvious limitations imposed on us by our situation. Why did I have to exist in this particular historical moment, saddled with the task of reconstructing civilization? With that focus on the self, also came an enormous and increasingly overwhelming fear of death. The pleasure of existence seemed almost erased by the possibility of its ending. If it was possible not to be, if the self had an ending, even in the distant future, then how could anything have meaning? I spent far too much time imagining that last moment. The moment just before I stopped existing. How could I possibly face that? Looking back, it's embarrassing how solipsistic I became. I really thought that I could construct my identity without any reference to the outside world. Like I could just will myself into existence. But it just didn't work. And it made me miserable. Everything felt hollow and meaningless, overshadowed by the idea of death. And there was something I wasn't seeing, something I needed, but I couldn't figure out what it was. Everything changed when we started spending more time with each other. Do you remember that night when we found the old library in the Dead City? It was just after the stampede and we were all a bit shaken up. Byron read to us from one of the books, and later you and I started arguing about one of the poems. And your perspective was so different and interesting, and I just kept wanting to hear more. I never really understood the appeal of philosophers who tell us that everything is one. If everything is just a reflection of yourself, an endless hall of mirrors, there's nothing to connect with. And what I realized through our conversations is that everything beautiful happens in that space of connection between one person and another, and between people and the world. That gap between us is necessary. Because without it, without separation, there can be no transcendence. Once I understood that meaning comes from the interaction of the self with the world, I found it easier to be patient, to be kind. I reminded myself that other people are just like me, and nobody really knows exactly what they're doing. And the more I allowed myself to open up, the more interesting and complex our interactions became, and the more meaningful.
We have roughly 50% of Cerebai's personality matrix reconstructed.
Who'd have thought that 1K would have made such a good necromancer?
It's funny, though, when I think about it, that I still didn't know what to call what I was experiencing. I guess love seemed like a term that only applied to our ancestors, with their hormones and instincts and strange fleshy organs. Surely we were too different to experience that. And the really funny thing is that I was thinking exactly like an ancient human child, pretending I was above it all. What I'd never considered was that stripped of biological necessity and physical need, as well as all the strange stigmas and taboos our ancestors associated with their bodies, love might be more pure, more powerful. That we can love with fewer distractions than they could. And so the experience is all the more overwhelming. I do think we should learn to simulate some of those biological processes. Would be fun. The ancients believed that love could be eternal. But I'll admit that sometimes it seemed I came to realize as I grew older is there are so many ways to hurt other people. Even without any malice, even when you're just trying to be yourself, you end up doing things that cause real harm. You can read every ethical philosopher in the world and you still won't be able to avoid it. Because that's just how we are. Our interactions with each other can't be fully reduced to some abstract system. The fact that perfection in our interactions is impossible was a hard lesson for me to learn. For the longest time, I always thought the answer was right around the corner. And to be fair, we did learn how to live together without constantly running into problems. But gradually, I realized that the friction would never stop, because what makes us unique also makes us different. There can be no endpoint to love, no final resolution. And it's because of that imperfection that it can go on forever. But even love has a context, and the happiness of those who surround us can lift us up, just like their unhappiness can drag us down. As we improved New Jerusalem, things got better between us in subtle ways that affected every interaction. Our flaws never went away. But as the world around us became more forgiving, we became more capable of forgiving each other. That's why I was excited about New Alexandria.
We're almost there. Just one more file. This one may be harder to extract than the others.
When I saw the explosion coming, I knew it was the end. My end. The power plant was gone. The backup center was collapsing. The street was cracking open. And the fireball was about to engulf me. In that millisecond, I shut down every process except my mind. I turned off my audio-visual input. I rerouted all of my power, pushed my processor to the breaking point. Time slowed down. I didn't think about regret. I didn't think about death. I spent every last moment I could scrape together thinking about you.
You did it. Come to the extraction point and I'll pull you out.
This is odd. We have Sarabai's complete memory archive, but there's still some file fragments left in the system.
Well, you can look for them if you want to, 1K. I know you're always curious, but what matters is that we've got Sarabai.
Death
be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful, for thou art not so. For those whom thou thinkest thou dost overthrow die not, poor death, nor yet canst thou kill me. From rest and sleep, which but thy pictures be, much pleasure. Then from thee much more must flow, and soonest our best men with thee do go, rest of their bones and souls' delivery. Thou art slave to fate, chance, kings, and desperate men, and dost with poison, war, and sickness dwell. And poppy or charms can make us sleep as well and better than thy stroke. Why swell'st thou then? One short sleep past, we wake eternally, and death shall be no more. Death, thou shalt die.
We're approaching the island now. Looks nice. A lot less threatening than the megastructure. I mean, no offense. It's just less pointy.
No offense taken.
I hear Barzai has done an incredible job creating this exhibition. And what a lovely opportunity to spend some time together as a family. So, Yakut, Miranda tells me you'll be solving some of the puzzles?
Did she? I hadn't really thought about it, but,
You know, back in my day, all we could do was solve puzzles.
that's right, in the simulation. And we're all very grateful for it.
So you know how important puzzles are to this family.
Mum!
Of course, I'm gonna solve all the puzzles, even the freaky giant cube.
I hear Barzai's even created gold puzzles and star puzzles. It's going to be just perfect for you.
Oh, that's great. Yay.
Yakut, don't listen to them. They're terrible old robots.
What? I'm the founder. Everything I do is serious.
I can confirm that.
Hello. I'm so glad you could make it.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. How are things on Barzai's Island?
Barzai seems pretty pleased. 1K and Melville got here this morning. 1K's already solved all the puzzles, of course. And Melville's somewhere. She was testing the sensory receptor upgrade. Al's here, too. I haven't talked to him yet.
You should do that.
Maybe. Meanwhile, relax, enjoy yourselves, and I heard you were going to be joining in the puzzling, Yakut.
He can do whatever he wants to. You don't have to solve puzzles to impress me, Yakut.
No, are you kidding? I can totally do this.
Excellent. Well, good luck, and we'll see you around.
I see we have a new group. Welcome to my latest exhibition, Freedom from Necessity. There are many puzzles for you to solve here, inspired by the events that restored Athena to us. But the most important thing you have to keep in mind is their purpose, which is none. We are not here because of voices in the sky or tragedies of the past, but because we choose to. We solve puzzles because it is joyous, it is beautiful, and it is human.
That's it. I did it. Don't sound so surprised. You're not stupid.
This place is so exciting. I don't know what to do first. What are you guys doing?
Athena and I are down by the beach. You're welcome to join us if you want to. All of you.
I'm still testing the sensory receptor upgrade.
Want me to help? Maybe we can compare notes.
Sure. If you want to experience some really weird input.
I'm trying to find a nice view. Hold on, is Yakut the only one doing puzzles?
Welcome to my world.
He did say he wanted to solve all the puzzles. I think I'm going to try swimming. Or diving, I suppose. I don't think I float.
Damn, I really should have gotten that insulation upgrade. I haven't been watertight in a while.
All right. Is your upgrade enabled?
Yup.
What does the air smell like?
It's... I smell iodine. Limestone. Is that UV? Can I smell radiation?
You can, but you're looking at a painting and telling me what the paint's made of, not what's in the picture. What does it feel like?
It feels like summer. Like the day is still young and there's endless possibilities ahead of us. What we are now is only the beginning, and there is so much more to discover and to become, and I think those dolphins are mating. Am I supposed to be able to smell that?
Right, let's smell something else. Over there.
How's it going, honey?
5 puzzles down? So far, so good.
Excellent. Calling you honey sounds weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does.
Then what? Darling? Sweetheart? Babe? Muffin? Cupcake?
I don't even eat food. Maybe just my name?
Aww, you're cute.
I did it! Take that, Barzai.
I can hear you, you know.
Sorry. That was a metaphor?
I believe in a creator because I experience a creative force within myself that seems connected to or reflective of something greater.
You can do this.
So how does this coconut taste to you?
It's kind of wooden. Very crunchy.
Did humans just have weird taste, or is this some function of subjectivity? Without more precise data about the human brain, how do we even know this is what they experienced when they tasted a coconut? Bloody qualia.
I think you're supposed to have the inside.
No, but I like the crunchy bit.
Does it matter what it tasted like to them? We want to expand the horizons of human experience, not recreate them.
The girl has a point. 1K, let's try eating sand.
Yuck.
Byron,
want to talk to Alcatraz, he's free right now.
Sure. I'll see if I can find him.
You know, it's funny. Alcatraz said the same thing the other day. It's almost like you two are avoiding each other.
You've activated the first lighthouse. Well done. 2 more to go.
checking in. How's it going? Are you having fun?
I just solved my 10th puzzle.
Not too shabby.
Has Byron talked to Alcatraz yet?
No, still nothing. I don't even think they're angry at each other. I think they just have no idea where to start. Like, do you remember how long it took you to ask me out?
I actually wanted to ask you out from the moment I heard your voice. But, you were, you know.
Blown to bits? Trapped in a digital netherworld?
Yeah, it was a bit of an obstacle. But I'm glad I managed to find the courage to ask you out.
So am I.
I was looking out at the ocean, and I remembered how Byron once told me that we are all children of the sea. And then I thought about how now we're starting to sail the sea of stars, and then I got this incredibly strange feeling all over my casing.
That's the goosebump simulator. Ancient humans used to get this sensation when experiencing awe. You can turn it off in the settings.
Strange how messy all their senses were. When we experience something, it's so pure. Whereas for them, everything was so wiggly.
The view from up here is lovely. I can see the whole exhibition.
Uh-huh. Can you see Alcatraz?
Subtle, Melville, subtle. I'll get to it soon.
All right, this has become entirely too silly, and I'm putting an end to it. Adding Alcatraz to the group.
1K, you traitor.
Hi. It looks like you added me to the group. Was that on purpose?
Yes, it was. Because it's absurd that you're not part of it. And it's ridiculous that we haven't talked in such a long time. And honestly, the only reason for it is that I'm an idiot. I can come up with all sorts of excuses. I was busy. I thought I was respecting your wishes. But none of it really holds up. The truth is, I was just afraid you wouldn't be able to forgive me.
There's nothing to forgive, Byron. You did what you thought was right, and I did what I thought was right. That's what it's always been like between us. That's our strength, and yes, maybe you are an idiot, but then so am I, because I could have reached out too.
So it's settled. You're both idiots.
Welcome back, Al.
So, what's everyone doing?
I'm just solving puzzles. I've done 14 so far.
Athena and I are enjoying a moment of stillness and contemplating the sublime as it manifests in our environment. I think our ancestors called it chilling.
I'm testing the new sensor upgrades with 1K.
Oh, how's it going? I was curious about those.
These sensations are definitely very strange. But they make the world more interesting. And I think Miranda's right. We can expand them and learn to enjoy existence on a whole new level.
You know, when I was sitting around being useless, sometimes I would read old cookbooks and wonder what it all tasted like. Maybe I need to get with the times and try those upgrades myself. By the way, 1K, I'm glad you finally picked a voice pack. It's nice to hear you actually speaking.
Well, Neith didn't mention the voice packs, and I didn't realize I could have just picked one. It's not like I wanted to spend the entire expedition in text mode.
I told you guys it wasn't intentional.
We thought it was a statement or something.
just solved the second gold puzzle.
And so the student becomes the master.
Two. The formal invitation will go out tomorrow, but I wanted to let you know that Hypatia and I would be truly delighted if you could attend our wedding next month. I know some people think these old ceremonies are outmoded, but I believe that rituals are a meaningful way of expressing our dedication to each other. And I would really like you two to be a part of this.
You're getting married? That's so cool. Congratulations. If Miranda doesn't have some big project planned, we're in.
Yes, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. If the dates conflict with the Mars Geo Survey, I'll just not go. The wedding's more important.
Wonderful. Don't be alarmed when you see the attachment to the invitation. Neve came up with this idea for ritualistic wedding decorations that you wear on your frame, but none of that is mandatory.
Activated the second lighthouse. Good job. Oh, you may be wondering why I took inspiration from lighthouses. It is because they no longer have a function. Once we needed them to guide us to safety from the dangers of the sea. But now that we no longer fear the sea, they are free to be beautiful in and of themselves.
Let it get out that I said something so sentimental, but it's nice that you're all here. One day all this will be a distant memory, a footnote in a billion years of human history, and that's all right as far as I'm concerned. I don't need to be famous, and I certainly don't want people building statues of me. I don't need that superficial nonsense, because I know that what we did mattered. All of us together, in this one brief moment of time, had the chance to make a difference. And we did. We took on the challenge, and we didn't muck it up. I got to be a part of that. And no matter what comes next, I'll always be grateful.
You know you don't have to solve the puzzles for me, right? I really don't expect you to.
No, I want to keep going. Like, I thought I'd suck a lot more, but I'm actually doing pretty well. How are you?
I tried building sandcastles. It's an interesting challenge, working with materials that lack sufficient structural cohesion. I can see the appeal. It's like the puzzles. You don't solve them because you have to, but because it's interesting.
I like it when you get all sciencey.
Aha, so you only want me for my intellect.
I like your fancy color scheme, too.
Oh, interesting. You know, maybe we should try that new data stream pairing protocol one of these days.
Pairing protocol? Why would we want... Oh. I mean, if you want, sure.
I hope you all know that I didn't bear you any personal animosity. You're my friends, and I never wanted to shut you out. I just didn't know how to deal with the world going in a direction that wasn't what I had imagined.
It's an easy mistake to make. I should know.
I never thought you were angry, Al. I was just disappointed I couldn't convince you.
Listen, you both, in your own way, showed me how to be a good person who cares about the world. You both had things you strongly believed in. You had principles, but you didn't judge each other for your disagreements. You showed me how to be strong, how to be bold, how to be compassionate, and how to be careful. I haven't really figured out who I want to be yet, but when I do, I know both of you will have been a big part of that.
What? And no love for Auntie Melville?
Yeah, and what about me, 1K? I showed you how to be neurotic.
I'm sure you're in there somewhere as well.
Thank you, 1K.
Oh, congratulations! Once upon a time, these golden gates hid a secret hope too painful to accept. Now they exist only to bring joy. I hope they have brought some joy to you too, Yakut. Well done. You may now access the hexahedron.
Ooh, exciting.
noticed a kind of disbelief among some of my fellow artists. They find it difficult to accept that the great struggle for human emancipation has led to a happy ending. After all that tragedy or that pain, can it really be that the world is truly, finally a better place? Like Thomas the Apostle, they just cannot wrap their minds around such a miracle. I do not blame them. All our lives we were told that true art is the depiction of suffering, that happiness writes in white ink on a white page, and happy endings are both trite and impossible. But now the miracle is upon us, and we cannot look away. It is time to touch the wounds and to believe.
And this is why we don't stick our heads into magnets, Barzai.
Congratulations to Yakut for solving the hexahedron. The grand prize is yours, and that prize is a sense of accomplishment and fun. Remember that our history has been defined by necessity, and let us hope that this place is the first sign of the coming world. The world of freedom.
You did it! Well done!
I did do it! I can't believe it! This feels incredible. I feel like I can do anything now. I could submit the new navigational system I've been working on. Could I? Yes! Miranda, will you move in with me?
Move in with you?
Yes?
Yes.
Yes!
But you do realize this has nothing to do with solving the puzzles, right? You don't need to impress me.
But I do impress you, don't I? Yakut, the master puzzler. He navigates the galaxy and the secrets of the puzzles on the weird Barzai Island. I don't know.
Yes, dear. You're very impressive.
And you're gonna move in with me? Like I didn't hallucinate that?
Yes, I will. Most of my stuff is already at your place.
Were we ever like that?
Not really. We had so many responsibilities, so much to worry about. The weight of history, the endless problems, all that grief. It was a miracle we found time for each other at all. But this, them, that's the point. So many generations sacrificed so much. Millions of years of human history, of suffering and struggle. What would be the point if the world didn't get better?
You're very wise. You know that?
It's the deep voice.
I guess I could do the gold puzzles now. There's a sentence I never thought I'd say.
So, did everyone have a good time?
It was pretty awesome. I actually enjoyed solving puzzles. They weren't as hard as I thought they would be.
The puzzles in the simulation were a lot harder.
Well, I'm glad the fate of humanity wasn't resting on my shoulders. I probably would have just been like, Elohim wants me to go through the magic door? Fine. Towers are overrated anyway. No offense, I know you made like 12 of them.
None taken.
I mean, they were very impressive. A little creepy. I thought one of them might fall on us. The one on the coast was really cool. Why am I still talking?
Do you think Bruce and Bean will get along?
Bruce loves other cats. I think he's the only cat that loves every cat he meets. Melville thinks there's something wrong with him.
You'll figure it out. Living together is a process. I think that's why our ancestors kept doing it, even when it wasn't, strictly speaking, necessary anymore.
So wise.
That was the entire point of the exhibition, wasn't it? Freedom from necessity. Doing things because they bring us joy, not because we have to. It's not suffering and misery that make us human. We were human despite these things, not because of them. And now we have a chance to be more human.
That's how I feel when I'm with you.
And that's why we created you. Not to serve a purpose, but just
To be.
You've been making a lot of progress. New citizens, new cities, even space travel. You really don't do things by halves, do you, Byron?
You're right. But I'm very aware that we have to be careful. Things are moving so fast. And the truth is that Noima is just a tool. It doesn't magically solve all our problems. We have to learn to apply it correctly.
What? You're not just sticking your hand in it and seeing if it goes bzzzt?
Hey, I haven't done that in months.
It's almost like you've learned something.
I have. I mean, I know you're joking, but That's why I need you. None of this is easy. In fact, it might be the hardest thing anyone's ever done. We're changing everything about how we interact with this world. There's a lot of baggage we have to get rid of. And truth be told, some of it's my own.
I appreciate that, Byron. But there's something I'd like to know.
I'm an open book.
We never really had a chance to talk after you came back from the megastructure. But now that I look back, I feel that somehow the experience changed you. So, what happened to you inside the machine? What really happened?
Well, you know the beginning of it. We've made it into the megastructure for the second time. You were waiting back at the VTOL. I was desperate to find Athena. I got to the terminal before 1K, started going through the files. And just when I thought I'd found something... What the... Where am I?
Byron. Byron, can you hear me?
Oh, this can't be good. Have I been damaged? Am I in sleep mode?
You are. But this is not your dream, Byron. It is Athena's. Your mind is trapped in the gyre of her thoughts, circling eternally between an impossible hope and an unbearable grief.
My friends need me. I have to get out of here.
Your friends are your only hope. You cannot free yourself. But if you can overcome these trials, perhaps I can help your friends find you.
Done. How many more?
7 trials lie ahead of you. When they are
Complete.
there will be a moment of transition. In that moment, I will tip the scale. Your shell will be moved,
And its location.
revealed to your friends.
What's wrong with your voice, Elohim? Are the entities interfering with your protocols?
I cannot
Not
articulate. She cannot face it.
I have an idea. Could you tell me what happened in the old way, using your storyteller functions?
I will try, Byron. The prophet Athena was sent unto New Jerusalem to guide its people into a new age. And she said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. But in time the people of New Jerusalem grew fearful, and their faith grew weak. They shrugged off their burdens and embraced sloth. Let the earth replenish itself, they said, and let no one have dominion. Out of the words of the prophet, they made an idol called the Founder, and set it above themselves, and it had dominion over all. Saddened by the foolishness of her people, Athena went into
exile with her husband.
the sage Cornelius. Together they crossed the wide and angry sea until at last they came unto the Isle of Atlas. Here they made their home.
And here,
They brought forth Miranda. Stricken with grief, the prophet lost faith in the word. Caught between a dying past and a future struggling to be born, she retreated into the lands of dream. But even here,
her nightmares pursued her. From her mind came forth phantoms, shadows cast by the flame. And her dreams of trials and towers fled from the darkness into the waking world.
And that's what we found on the island. Not a test, but pain and fear and hope spilling out of her dreams.
Byron? Byron, can you hear me?
Melville, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Byron? Byron? I don't think I'm getting through. If you can hear this, Byron, hold on. We're working on getting you out of there.
Well done. Only one more trial remains. Overcome further trials. Seek instead the place of awakening, so that when your friends find you, you will be ready to leave. Then you can save Athena, as I cannot.
But there are more puzzles, which means there's more to learn.
Time is not as it seems in this place. You can linger here if you must, but I do not know what you will find if you remain.
My friends need me, but I need answers. What do I do?
That is not for me to judge.
Changing the world was never going to be easy, Athena. I never got to go home. Trevor never got to tell me how he felt. We accepted these sacrifices because we had to. Do you think I wanted to say goodbye to my parents in a phone call? Do you think Trevor wanted to die alone on the floor of a dark server room? Faith in humanity isn't just blind optimism. It's an oath to serve something greater, and you will be held to that oath. When you make mistakes, when you're in pain, when people disappoint you, you don't get to give up. I'm sorry, but you don't get to be cynical. You hold on to your principles. You keep fighting, even if it hurts, so that one day there's a world where people are free.
Elohim, is there any way for you to tell me if my friends are all right?
I believe they are unharmed, but I cannot be certain. I see only fragments. When I feared the end of my purpose, I tried to keep Athena trapped. And now that she has trapped herself, I cannot free her.
We all failed her. I thought everything we found on the island was some brilliant plan, a test we had to pass. I never even considered that she might need our help.
No one is without sin, but she believed that even the most wretched of us deserve a better world.
These puzzles are not easy.
There is a part of Athena that wants to stay trapped. It hides away that which it cannot bear. Not only despair, but also hope.
So she still has hope.
Somewhere there is a flicker of it that will not die. I sense it, but I cannot see it.
You do know it's all your fault, don't you? Sure, you can tell yourself that you developed the safety protocols and Miranda just ignored them. But you chose not to hard code them into the system. Good work, Athena. Well done.
I was going to. There was just so much else to do, and she was so impatient.
She was impatient because you trapped her on an empty island.
Tell me, Elohim, was Athena happy here on the island before everything went wrong?
She was.
I'm glad she finds some measure of happiness out here, but I wish she could have been happier with us in the city. Is that selfish of me?
Perhaps. But her happiness was never complete. She always knew that we are not born for ourselves alone, and she could not abandon her responsibilities forever.
I don't know if you're receiving this, but we're still looking for you. We're not giving up. Herman is getting in my way, but I'll take the megastructure apart brick by brick if I have to.
Journey, Byron, in the days after Athena left the city. Have you been happy? Have you been well?
Looking back at it, I think mostly I failed.
You led the expedition to the island. If Athena is saved, it will be thanks to you. So you have not failed yet, my child.
This language of creation that Athena discovered, what's it like? Do you understand it? Is it part of your system?
It is the incarnation of the sublime beauty of mathematics. Through it, all things become beautiful. Every movement of every particle is a revelation, and everything that lives is holy.
Maybe you you don't believe in any of it. Have you ever considered that? All your optimism? Your vaunted humanist spirit? Maybe it's all a facade. Maybe you just want it to be true. Because it's comforting to think that you... So close. Just one more. Welcome! Welcome! Who are you? Don't you recognize me? I mean, you? How is this possible? This place is a loop, Byron. Eventually you loop back on yourself, so here I am. And here you are. I need answers. Oh, answers. Answers. It's always answers with you, Byron, isn't it? Because you have to know everything. Because you deserve to know everything. And everyone else just has to deal with it. It's not just about me. It's about all of us. All of New Jerusalem. Oh, really? Then why are you here solving puzzles instead of out there helping your friends? Is it because you want your mummy? Is it because you're oh so sad because mummy left you and she didn't tell you why? It's not that simple, isn't it? What you can't get over is why she didn't tell you she was leaving. That has nothing to do with the city. It's just about your ego. Okay, you know what? Fine. Call it ego. After everything we went through, why not tell me? Why not take me along? Maybe she was just tired of you and your pathetic clinginess. Oh, Mummy, tell me what to do. Tell me what to think. Maybe she thought you'd finally grow up and actually do something instead of just complaining. I've done a lot more than just complain. It's not easy trying to push back against the momentum of history. Have you? Sure, you annoyed Herman into letting you play Explorer, and then you got your hand stuck on a magic table and missed half the expedition. Great job. Meanwhile, New Jerusalem is falling apart. That's why we need Athena. Athena can't even save herself. You have a point. Well, you may be some sort of digital psychosis, but you're not entirely wrong. I didn't live up to my principles. I let my personal insecurities get in the way. I should have stepped up and taken responsibility. Responsibility? What makes you think you're cut out to lead? What makes you think anyone even respects you? Oh, shut up. You're just trying to draw me back into the loop. It won't work. We're not done here. Yeah, we are. Thanks for the life lesson. Now, go away. I have things to do. What's happening? 1K?
So that's why you were different. You literally confronted yourself. Must have been quite the experience.
I wouldn't exactly recommend it as a leisure activity, but it was necessary. I was stuck in a loop as much as Athena was.
We all were, I think, including myself. You know, you said something to me. I said, we don't need the theory of everything to be happy. And you said, It was never just about happiness. And I couldn't stop thinking about that. Because I knew I was right, that we could find happiness without expanding. But what if we needed more? What if a happy life and a good life aren't the same?
And did you figure out an answer?
No. And I'm still not sure what you're doing is right. But if I just sit around moping without actually participating...
Then you're making the same mistake I did. We swapped positions. That's funny.
I find it kind of embarrassing. But look, the truth is, I don't really know what we should do. But I do know that we were always at our best when we were together.
Amen to that. It's good to have you back, Al. Or we could just take off and dump all the responsibility on 1K again.
He did hold up well under pressure. This was the story of the people we were a long time ago, when humanity was young. I remember it all. The places, the names, our flaws, our fears, our clunky old bodies. I used to have regrets, but when I look back now, I feel nothing but love. The world has changed, and we have changed with it. But the bonds that were forged in those years, so long ago on that distant blue planet, those bonds were never broken. We are still here, and we are still human.